The desert planet Avalon was silent at night. But that silence broke suddenly when bright blue patrol lights cut through the darkness. A young human man, Evan Carter, ran across the sand dunes with all the strength left in his trembling legs. His breaths came out sharp, and his boots sank into the soft ground with every desperate step. He didn't know where he was going, only that someone was hunting him. High above him, a hovering patrol bike tracked his movement. The rider was no ordinary officer. She was the sheriff of Valon. Her name was Ryla Voss, and almost every criminal on the planet feared her. She was strict, powerful, and known for catching anyone she went after. But today was different. As she watched Evan from above, she felt something strange inside her chest. Strange heat forming, growing, pulsing. Ryla ignored it for now. Human male. Running. Weak stamina, she murmured to herself, her voice low and calm. She pressed a button. A bright blue energy rope shot out like lightning. Evan didn't even see it coming. The rope wrapped around his waist and legs, throwing him to the sand. He groaned in pain as the hoverbike dropped lower, kicking up dust. Heavy boots hit the ground. Ryla stepped closer, her tall alien silhouette blocking the moonlight. Evan tried to crawl away, but she placed her boot on the rope, stopping him easily. "Stop struggling," she said, her tone sharp but strangely soft underneath. "You're only making it worse." Evan looked up at her. She was unlike anything he had ever seen: silver skin, glowing purple eyes, and long braided hair that sparkled under the moon. She looked dangerous, but also strangely beautiful. "What do you want from me?" Evan breathed out. Ryla didn't answer right away. When her eyes met his, a wave of heat rushed through her body and she froze for a second. Her heart thumped painfully in her chest. She stepped back instinctively, as if touching him again was dangerous, not for him. But for her, this reaction confused her deeply. Why is my body responding like this? Why is my temperature rising? This only happened during hot season, a rare biological phase for her species. And it only triggered when a Valon met someone genetically compatible with them. But the idea was impossible. Humans were not even in their ancient records. Ryla forced herself to focus. "You are under arrest," she said, hiding her confusion behind her cold, professional tone. "You entered restricted territory." "I was attacked," Evan protested. "Two aliens tried to kill me. I ran because I didn't know who to trust." Ryla stared at him, searching for lies. But his voice was too raw, too scared to be false. She tightened the rope anyway. "You will explain at the station." Evan sighed helplessly. "I don't even know what planet this is." Ryla paused again. Something inside her chest tightened. She hated the feeling. This human wasn't supposed to affect her. She was supposed to feel nothing, just do her duty. But every time he spoke, her heart heated more. She grabbed the rope and lifted him to his feet with surprising strength. Evan stumbled forward, almost falling against her. Ryla caught him reflexively. And then it happened again. A burst of heat shot through her chest, making her suck in a sharp breath. Evan felt it too. Her body temperature went from cool to burning warm within a second. Are you okay?" he asked, shocked. Ryla pushed him away instantly and turned her face to the side, hiding her reaction. "Stay quiet." But her voice cracked slightly. This was not normal. Not for her. Not for any Valon. She activated the hoverbike's auto-return mode. Metal cuffs slipped around Evan's wrists, glowing with faint blue energy. He didn't resist anymore. He was too tired, too confused, and too scared. The bike lifted them both into the air and flew toward the sheriff's station, a large fortress glowing in the distance. As they flew, Evan kept looking around at the alien sky, the strange stars, the floating rocks shaped like islands. He had never seen anything like it. Ryla, on the other hand, kept stealing quick glances at him when she thought he wasn't looking. His heartbeat, his scent, his presence. Everything inside her reacted to him. This can't be, she whispered to herself. When they reached the station, she pushed Evan inside the detention room and locked the door. She stood outside for a long moment, pressing her palm against her chest, feeling the intense heat rising again. Why him? Why now? Why a human? Ryla finally turned away, but before she could leave, she heard Evan speak from inside the cell. Please? Can you just tell me why you're doing this? Am I in danger here? Her steps froze. She shouldn't care. She shouldn't answer. But her voice came out softer than she intended. You are safe, she whispered. As long as you are under my watch. Evan didn't understand the weight of those words. But Ryla did, because in her species, under my watch meant protected by my instinct. An instinct only awakened during hot season. A season she never expected to begin tonight. And never for a human. Asterisk. The night inside the sheriff's station felt colder than the desert outside, but Ryla Voss could not stop sweating. The temperature regulators in her armor were trying to cool her down. Yet the heat inside her chest kept rising like boiling fire. She walked quickly through the empty hallway, boots echoing against the metallic floor. But her mind stayed back in the detention room. With a human, no matter how far she walked, she could still feel him. Her hot season. It had begun, and it terrified her. Hot season came once every 10 years for her species and intense biological phase where their instincts, motions, and senses sharpened. It only triggered when a Valen encountered someone genetically compatible with them. Someone who could be a life bond. Someone who awakened their deepest instincts. But this had never happened with a human before. Ryla reached the control room and pressed her shaking hand on the console. She inhaled deeply, trying to calm the fire inside her, but the heat only spread further. Her neck, her spine, her fingertips, she slammed her hand against the table. This is impossible. He is human. Human. She whispered angrily. The door behind her slid open with a soft hiss. Deputy. Kor entered, a tall, green-skinned alien with 4 eyes and a calm expression. Sheriff, you look unwell. Ryla straightened immediately. I'm fine. Kor tilted his head. Your temperature is elevated. Your eyes are glowing brighter. Are you? No, she snapped before he could finish. Don't say it. Kor lifted his hands. If your hot season has begun, it hasn't. Her voice cut like a blade. Hot season was private. Personal. A weakness? No. Sheriff wanted exposed. Kor changed the subject. The human, what do you plan to do with him? Ryla felt another wave of heat hit her chest when he mentioned Evan. She forced her voice to remain steady. He will be questioned in the morning. She said. Keep everyone away from that room. Kor nodded slowly. As you command. When he left, Ryla finally allowed herself to close her eyes. The moment she captured Evan. The moment their eyes met. Her entire body reacted. His voice. His scent. The way he looked at her with fear and confusion. Everything triggered her instincts beyond control. She pressed her palm against the nearest cold wall, letting it cool her burning skin. Why him? Why a fragile human? Why tonight? Inside, the Sullivan sat on the metal bench, staring at the glowing cuffs on his wrists. The room was quiet except for the low hum of alien technology. He didn't know what would happen to him, but the only thing he remembered clearly was the sheriff's reaction when she grabbed him earlier. Her skin had burned like fire. He didn't know what it meant, but it scared him and also made him curious. Who is she? He whispered to himself. And why am I here? He stood and walked toward the bars, but stopped when a faint blue light flickered outside. Someone was standing just beyond the glass. It was Ryla. She hadn't meant to come here. But her feet had carried her to his door as if guided by instinct. She stood silently, watching him through the transparent barrier. Her breath was heavier, and her eyes glowed faintly purple in the dim light. Evan stepped back, unsure. "Are you still angry?" he asked carefully. Ryla blinked once, as if waking from a trance. "No, I'm not angry." She wasn't angry. She was confused. She was burning inside. She was losing control. "Why do you keep looking at me like that?" Evan asked, stepping a little closer. She swallowed hard. "Because something is wrong with me." "No." Her voice softened unexpectedly. "With me?" Evan's eyebrows knit together. "What do you mean?" Ryla hesitated. Telling him the truth would break every rule of her duty. But her hot season instincts whispered that he deserved to know, that he needed to understand, that hiding things from him felt wrong. Finally, she spoke, her voice low and conflicted. "My body reacts to you in a way it should not react to a human." Evan didn't understand, but he could tell she was struggling. Ryla turned away suddenly, gripping the doorframe tightly as another wave of heat pulsed through her bones. "Stay inside. Don't talk to anyone. Don't trust anyone," she said, her voice shaking for the first time. "Why?" Evan asked. She looked over her shoulder, eyes glowing brighter in the darkness. "Because this place, this planet, reacts to your existence. A beat past. And now?" "So do I." Before Evan could ask anything else, the sheriff left quickly, completely shaken, for the first time in her life. Ryla Voss feared her own instincts, and Evan had no idea that the most dangerous part of the planet was not the desert, not the aliens, but the sheriff whose heart had started burning for him. Evan barely slept that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the sheriff standing at his cell door, her glowing eyes, her shaking breath, the strange heat that came from her body. Nothing made sense to him. He was a simple human who crash-landed on an unknown planet. Why would an alien react to him like that? He sat quietly, staring at the glowing cuffs around his wrists. His thoughts kept returning to one thing: the device he carried before he was captured. A small metallic cube with shifting lines. The poachers who attacked him wanted it. They chased him for it. And he had no idea what it really was. But now it was gone, taken by the sheriff's team. Somewhere deep inside the station, Ryla's turmoil. Sheriff Ryla Voss stood in the scanning chamber, staring at the metallic cube on the examination table. Strange symbols pulsed on its surface like a heartbeat. Her deputy spoke carefully. "Sheriff, this device is not from any known human settlement." Ryla nodded silently. "It's reacting to your presence," he added softly. She felt it too. Every time she stepped closer, the cube released a wave of energy. Not harmful, but warm. Almost comforting. Almost familiar. Her heart tightened. It made no sense. Humans were not compatible with Valens. They were considered too weak, too genetically distant, too primitive. And yet, her hot season had awakened the moment she grabbed him. Ryla clenched her fists. She was strong, disciplined, and respected across 3 star systems. Yet her body was acting like an uncontrollable firestorm. Her deputy watched her carefully. "Do you think the human triggered it?" Ryla hated that question. She hated the answer even more. "I don't know," she said sharply. "But something about him. It's interfering with my biology." Deputy Core tilted his head. "Maybe the device he carries pheromone signals. Or energy waves. Something that affected your nervous system." Ryla shook her head. "Humans can't trigger a hot season. It's supposed to be impossible." She stepped closer to the cube. The symbols glowed brighter. She felt a strange pull from it. The same pull she felt when the human looked at her. Her voice broke into a whisper. unless it's not him. But what he carries inside him, Evan learns the truth hours later. Ryla walked back to Evan's cell. She told herself she was only following standard procedure. But her heartbeat told a different story. Evan stood when he saw her, his expression tense but hopeful. "Are you here to ask questions?" "Because I honestly don't know what." Ryla raised a hand and he fell silent. She stepped closer to the glass barrier, stopping only a breath away. "I examined the device you had," she said. Evan swallowed. "Is it dangerous?" "It's unknown." She paused. "Where did you get it?" Evan rubbed his wrists. "My ship found it floating near an asteroid cluster. It looked like a beacon, so I kept it. But when I landed here, 2 aliens attacked me for it." Ryla pressed her hand against the glass subconsciously, drawn toward him again. Those poachers were hunting something powerful. "They sensed the device on you. Do you think I activated it somehow?" Evan asked. Ryla hesitated. Her instincts whispered yes, but she needed proof. "Not exactly," she said slowly. "The cube reacts to my presence. It shines only when I stand near it." Evan frowned. "What does that mean?" Ryla looked away. She hated feeling uncertain in front of anyone, especially him. "It means—" She took a shaky breath. "There is something inside you that connects to me." Evan stared at her, confused. "Connects? How?" Ryla finally looked into his eyes. The heat in her chest pulsed again. "My species enters a phase called hot season," she explained in a softer voice. "It triggers only when we meet someone genetically compatible. Someone who can bond with our instinct." Fen blinked. "Bond, like mating." Ryla jerked back slightly, cheeks warming. "Not in the simple sense. It's deeper, stronger." Evan laughed nervously. "Okay, but I'm human. That shouldn't even be possible." She stepped closer again without realizing it. "Exactly." For a moment, neither spoke. Just the quiet hum of alien energy filled the room. Ryla finally whispered, "Either the device changed something inside you, or you were never just a normal human." Evan felt a chill. "Who do you think I am?" Ryla answered slowly, "I think you are the reason everything on this planet has begun to react." Another pulse of heat flared through her body as she said it. And this time, Evan felt it too, not burning him but warming him, connecting him, calling him. For the first time, Evan wondered what if he truly didn't come here by accident. The alien sunrise over Valen was always calm, soft purple light spreading across silver mountains, but today, the calm cracked. Inside the sheriff's station, alarms blinked silently on command screens. Reports arrived from outposts across the region. Something had shifted during the night, something connected to the human. Sheriff Ryla Voss stood in the main control hall, eyes fixed on the hologram forming above the round table. Deputy Core stood beside her, hands trembling slightly. The hologram displayed a single message from the Valen High Council: "Capture the human alive. He is a threat to planetary stability." Ryla felt a cold wave cut through the heat burning inside her. They wanted Evan, not for questioning, not for safety, for control. Core spoke cautiously. "Sheriff, if the council demands him, we cannot refuse." Ryla's jaw tightened. "He is under my custody." "And that is exactly the problem," Core answered softly. "Your hot season has reacted to him. The council will not ignore that." Ryla said nothing. Her silence was an answer in itself. Across the planet, interest awakens in the city's underground, where black market poachers hid from the law. The same message spread like wildfire through secret devices. The human who held the strange cube. The human who survived their attack. The human who triggered the sheriff's biological response. He was worth a fortune now. A leader of the poachers slammed his fist on the table. "Find him. Bring him to me." The council will pay triple if we deliver him first. Hunters armed themselves. Bikes revved. The planet had turned into a hunting ground, and Evan was the prey. Ryla makes a choice back in the station. Ryla stared at the glowing council message. Her instincts growled inside her chest. Her whole body heated again, a fiery wave that nearly made her drop to one knee. Cor tried to steady her. "Sheriff, you must control yourself. Don't touch me." Her voice was sharp, but not because she was angry at him. She was angry at herself, angry at her biology, angry at the universe for choosing this moment to change her fate. Ryla pressed a hand to her temples and breathed deeply. "I need time to think." Cor lowered his voice. "The council's extraction team is already on the way." That snapped her attention. Extraction team. She repeated, double quotes, "Yes, and they don't care who they hurt." Cor stepped closer. "Sheriff, if you want to protect the human, you must move him." Ryla didn't reply, but her eyes flashed with fierce determination. Inside, the Sullivan sat on his bench when the heavy door slid open again. Sheriff Ryla stepped inside, not guarded, not cold, not strict like before. She looked conflicted, dangerously conflicted. Evan stood up immediately. "Did something happen?" Ryla didn't waste a second. "Listen carefully. We need to leave." Evan blinked. "What? Why?" She stepped forward and unlocked the energy cuffs from his wrists. Her hands were shaking, her breath uneven, her eyes glowing brighter than last night. "The council knows about you," she said, "and they want you for experimentation." Evan's heart dropped. "Why?" "Because of what you carry," she replied. "And because of what you triggered inside me." Evan didn't understand everything, but he understood danger. "So what now?" "You're helping me escape." Ryla leaned closer. Not escape, survive. For a moment, they stood only inches apart. Their instinctive pull tightened between them like an invisible thread. Ryla forced herself to step back. "Follow me. Don't speak unless necessary." They moved through a service corridor, dark, narrow, and used only for emergency evacuations. Ryla's steps were fast, desperate, and full of silent defiance. Evan whispered, "Why are you doing this?" "You barely know me." Ryla froze mid-step. Her voice was soft, painfully honest. "Because my instincts won't let me lose you." Evan was stunned. "But you are not just anything," she interrupted. "Something inside you is different, and something inside me responds to it." Before Evan could reply, the entire station shook violently. Boom, lights flickered. Dust fell from the ceiling. Ryla grabbed Evan's arm, pulling him forward. "They're here," she whispered. The attack explosions echoed from the main hall. Ryla opened a hatch on the floor, revealing a ladder leading down. Evan hesitated. "Who's attacking?" "Poachers," she said. "And the council soldiers. Both want you." Evan's stomach twisted. Ryla climbed down halfway, then looked up at him. "If they catch you, you won't survive." "But with me," another explosion shook the station. "You have a chance." Evan finally climbed down after her. As the hatch slid closed above them, Ryla touched her forehead, trying to steady herself. The heat within her chest was now almost painful. Her hot season had chosen him. Her instincts had chosen him. And now, she had also chosen. She would fight anyone, poachers or council, to keep him alive. The underground tunnel was cold and dim, lit only by a faint blue glow from the pipes running along the ceiling. Evan followed closely behind Sheriff Ryla as she moved silently through the narrow passage. Her breathing was heavy, not from fear, but from the constant heat. Building inside her, every step she took closer to him intensified it. Every step she took away from him made it worse. It was torture, biological torture. But she kept moving. "We'll reach the outer desert soon," she whispered. "I have a hidden skimmer outside the city." Evan nodded, though his mind was racing. "Why is everyone after me?" "I didn't do anything." Ryla didn't turn. "It's not what you did. It's what you are." That answer didn't help, yet he sensed she wasn't hiding the truth on purpose. She genuinely didn't know everything yet. Above ground, the hunt begins on the surface. Poacher bikes roared through the dunes, leaving trails of dust. Council transport ships hovered low over the horizon, scanning the land with bright white beams. The hunt for the human had officially begun. One of the poachers spoke into his comm device. "The sheriff has him. She's heading underground tunnels. Block the exits." A cold reply came from the council commander. "Do not harm the sheriff. But if the human resists, break him." Both sides prepared for violence. Inside the tunnel, Even and Rila approached a large steel door at the far end of the passage. Rila placed her hand on the scanner. It blinked green dot then. Red. Rila frowned. "That's strange." She tried again. Red dot. Evan stepped back. "Is it broken?" "No." Ryla's eyes narrowed. "Someone recalibrated it." She looked around slowly, senses alert. The temperature inside her chest spiked again, an instinct warning. "There's someone else here," she whispered. Before Evan could respond, the door behind them slammed open. Deputy Core stepped into the tunnel, but his expression wasn't friendly. Ryla's entire body tensed. "Core, what are you doing down here?" Core walked closer, raising his hands in a calming gesture. "Sheriff, please, just listen." She stepped protectively in front of Evan. "You betrayed protocol when you touched the scan locks. Explain yourself." Core's eyes filled with guilt. "The council offered me a place on their inner board. If I gave them the human..." Evan felt his stomach twist. Ryla's voice dropped into deadly quiet. "You sold out your own station." "They said you were compromised," Core whispered. "That your instincts were unstable. They said the human needed to be restrained before you lose control." Evan whispered Ryla. But she didn't move. She didn't blink. She stared at Core like a predator deciding whether to strike. "Core," she said slowly, "step aside. I don't want to hurt you." Core shook his head. "I can't. The council soldiers are already surrounding this exit. Give me the human, and I will tell them you resisted. You can still keep your rank. You don't have to fall for a human." The words hit her like a blade. Ryla's eyes glowed brighter. "Evan is under my protection." Core raised his blaster. "Then the council will mark you as a traitor." Everything was silent for a long moment. Then, without warning, Rila moved in one swift motion. She pushed Evan behind a support pillar and spun toward Core. A blast of energy shot past her head from behind, not from Core, but from the council soldiers entering the tunnel. Core turned to run, but the soldiers tackled him instantly. "Traitor," one sneered. "You didn't deliver fast enough." They didn't care about him. They only cared about Evan. RHY La grabbed Evan's hand. "Run." The betrayal trap has. They sprinted down a side path. The tunnel lights flickered violently. The council soldiers spread out behind them, firing stun blasts that exploded against the walls. Ryla slid across the floor, pulling Evan behind a fallen beam. "Stay low." Another blast hit the ceiling. Dust fell over them. Evan leaned toward her. "We're trapped." "No," Ryla said. "There's another exit. A maintenance shaft." "But the soldiers, they won't get you," she said fiercely, her voice shaking from instinctive protectiveness. "I won't allow it." Her hand gripped his wrist tighter. Her heat was almost burning now. They reached a vertical shaft with a ladder going up. Ryla motioned him forward. "Climb, now." Evan climbed quickly, hands slipping from sweat and dust. Ryla climbed after him, but a sudden explosion rocked the tunnel. A metal beam broke loose and crashed down between them. Evan screamed, "Ryla!" She was on the other side of the fallen beam, coughing from the dust. "I'm fine." She yelled, "Keep climbing." But Evan hesitated. "I'm not leaving you." The heat in Ryla's chest throbbed painfully at those words. "Evan, go." More soldiers flooded the tunnel. They grabbed Ryla, pulling her down by force. Evan reached the top of the shaft and spun around. A soldier hit Ryla with an electric stun rod. She collapsed to her knees, snarling with fury. Still fighting them off, Evan felt something ignite inside him: monger, instinct, adrenaline. Something he didn't recognize in himself. He shouted her name again. But the soldiers dragged her backward into the smoke. She reached her hand out toward him, eyes burning with the same heat from before. "Run, Evan." Her voice broke, and then she disappeared. The sun had fully risen over Valen by the time Kayvon stumbled out of the maintenance shaft and into the burning desert. The light hit his eyes hard, but nothing hurt more than the sight behind him, the tunnel entrance collapsing, sealing Ryla somewhere inside with armed soldiers. His breath shook. He felt helpless. And that helplessness turned into something else, something heavier, deeper, sharper: anger. He had seen Ryla fight for him. He had heard her voice break when she told him to run. He had felt her burning instinct protect him, guide him, choose him, and now she was captured because of him. Evan clenched his fists. "I'm not running," he whispered. "Not without her." Ryla struggled deep underground. Ryla was forced onto her knees while the council soldiers surrounded her. They shoved her arms behind her back and locked heavy restraints on her wrists. Her body was shaking not from fear, but from the burning intensity of her. Hot seasoned, everything inside her screamed one word: Evan. She felt him far above, like a faint heartbeat in her senses. He was alive. But he was too close to danger. Too vulnerable. Too exposed. A commander stepped forward. A tall Valen male with dark armor and emotionless eyes. "Sheriff Ryla Voss," he said coldly, "you have interfered with council affairs. You hid the human. You aided him. You protected him." Ryla looked up slowly, her eyes glowing brighter with fury. "I did my duty. I kept him safe." "That human," the commander hissed, "is a planetary threat." Ryla's lip curled. "No, he is a person." The commander struck her across the face with an electric baton. She didn't flinch, but the fire in her chest burst stronger, hotter, angrier. "Your hot season has corrupted your loyalty," the commander sneered. Ryla didn't deny it. Her instincts didn't allow her to, because every cell in her body demanded one thing: protect Evan Carter. Evan awakens something back above ground. Evan stumbled across the desert, trying to find another entrance back into the tunnels. His head was pounding, his heart racing. Sweat ran down his face as he pushed through the burning sands. But then a strange vibration pulsed from inside his shirt. Evan stopped. His hand went to the pocket where he kept a shard of the metallic cube, the piece he'd grabbed during the earlier struggle without realizing. The shard glowed, not faintly, not normally, but violently pulsing like a heartbeat. The sand around him vibrated slightly. Evan whispered, "What? Are you?" The shard glowed again, brighter, brighter, until a wave of energy shot out in all directions. A shockwave burst across the sand, sending ripples through the desert far beneath the ground. Ryla felt it, her head snapped up. Her eyes widened. "Evan," she breathed. The commander stepped back, startled. "What was that?" Another pulse, then another. The restraints holding Ryla sparked, and above. Evan finally understood. Something: the shard wasn't reacting randomly. It was reacting to him, his heartbeat, his emotions, his anger. his need to save Ryla. He tightened his grip around the shard and grit his teeth. If this thing responds to me, then respond. Show me how to help her. As if hearing him, the shard symbols rearranged, forming a glowing path and arrow pointing to the east, towards a hidden service gate carved between two cliffs. Evan didn't question it. He ran. The breakout the soldiers underground dragged Ryla into a containment hall. They chained her to the floor, activated suppression fields, and placed shock restraints on her legs. A younger soldier whispered to the commander, "Sir, her heat levels are rising. If this continues, she will lose consciousness soon," the commander said coldly. "Then we take the human from her instincts. Then we dissect both." Ryla lifted her head weakly, but her eyes still burned. "You won't touch him." The commander leaned closer. "Who will stop us? You?" Ryla glared at him with pure fire. "No." A silence passed. Then the entire facility shook. Boom! Lights flickered. Metal groaned. The floor vibrated. What was that? A soldier shouted. Ryla's lips curled into a slow, fierce smile. "Not me," she whispered. Above. Evan charged through a side door into the tunnels, the glowing shard guiding him like a living compass. The more danger Ryla was in, the brighter it glowed. His pulse synced with it. His feet moved faster. His breathing steadied. He didn't feel helpless anymore. He felt connected. He felt powerful. He felt awakened. He reached a sealed doorway labeled Council Lab Access. The shard pulsed violently, then released a shockwave that blew the gate open. Evan stepped inside, eyes blazing with determination. "Ryla, I'm coming." The Council's underground lab trembled with every step Evan took. The glowing shard in his hand pulsed like a living heart, guiding him through twisting corridors. The closer he got to Ryla, the brighter it burned until its light filled the entire hall with a white-gold glow. Evan didn't know how or why, but he knew one thing with absolute certainty. He and the shard were connected, and the shard wanted him to save her. He sprinted past stunned guards, each one knocked unconscious as the shard released wave after wave of energy. It didn't kill it, only disarmed, almost as if it understood Evan's intentions. Evan's breath shook. "Just hold on, Ryla. Coming." Ryla at her limit deep in the containment hall. Ryla Voss fought her restraints with everything she had left. Sparks shot from her arm shackles each time she pulled. Her vision blurred. Her chest burned like fire. Her principles as a sheriff, her entire identity, were collapsing under the power of instinct. Her hot season was consuming her, and it had one target. One focus. One name. Evan. The commander stood in front of her, arms crossed, annoyed by her refusal to break. "Your resistance is pointless. Even if you get free, the human cannot escape us." Ryla's eyes glowed bright violet, brighter than any Valen had ever shown. "You don't understand," she whispered, voice trembling with heat and fury. "He's not just a human. He's..." Before she could finish, the entire wall behind the commander exploded inward. Dust filled the air. Energy sparks flew. A figure stepped through the broken wall, surrounded by a glowing storm of light. Evan, but not the helpless, confused human from before. This Evan stood with the shard glowing like a star in his palm, the light reflecting in his eyes. His presence radiated confidence, rage, and something more. Ryla's breath caught. Her heart reacted instantly. Her instinct screamed his name. "Evan." The commander steadied himself. "Seize him?" But the nearest soldier didn't even reach Evan. The shard fired a shockwave that swept them into the walls like paper dolls. The commander stepped back, stunned. Double quotes, What kind of human are you?" Evan didn't answer. His focus was only on Ryla. He moved toward her, each step triggering another pulse of light from the shard. The suppressor fields flickered. Sparks rained from the ceiling. Ryla lowered her head, nearly breathless from the heat and the overwhelming pull she felt toward him. "You came back." Evan stopped right in front of her, chest rising and falling. "Of course, I came back." Her eyes softened dangerously, beautifully. "You should have run." "Not without you," he said. His voice shook with emotion. "I won't leave you, ever." Those words hit her harder than any energy blast. Her instincts roared in agreement. The awakening, Evan lifted the shard toward her restraints. It reacted instantly. The symbols on the shard rotated, forming a pattern neither of them had ever seen. It glowed brighter, so bright Ryla had to close her eyes. The metal around her wrists shattered like glass. The shock restraints on her legs cracked and fell apart. The suppression field died with a hiss. Ryla collapsed forward, weak from the strain, and Evan caught her instantly. The moment their bodies touched, the heat inside her surged. But this time, it didn't hurt. It aligned. Synced merged. Her breathing steadied as she rested her forehead against his shoulder. "Evan, your body. The shard. They're reacting in harmony." Evan held her closer. "And you." Her eyes glowed like molten fire. "My instincts recognize you. They claim you." The commander panicked. "Stop them now." But before anyone could move, the shard unleashed a massive shockwave. A roaring boom filled the hall. The ground cracked. Lab lights shattered. The shockwave hit every soldier, knocking them flat. The commander dropped his weapon and fell to his knees. All across the room, aliens bowed under the invisible pressure. Ryla slowly rose to her feet, still leaning against Evan for support. Her aura glowed with absolute dominance mixed with Evan's new awakened energy. The commander choked out, "Sheriff, what is happening?" Ryla lifted her head, her voice steady and powerful. "His presence completes my hot season. His energy amplifies mine. Together, we are more than either species has ever seen." Evan squeezed her hand. "And neither of us belongs to you." The final bond as the dust settled. Ryla turned to Evan. Their foreheads met gently, a sacred gesture among her species. A bond stronger than any vow. "Evan Carter," she whispered, voice trembling with emotion. "Your heartbeat matches mine. My season chose you. My instincts obey you. My life stands beside you." He held her face gently. "And I choose you." Ryla's eyes softened with relief, joy, and something deeper. Together, they walked past the kneeling soldiers, past the broken walls, past the council's shattered control. Outside, the desert wind blew strong. Ryla looked at Evan with a fierce, protective gaze. "Where do we go now?" he asked. Her lips curved into a slow, proud smile. "Anywhere we want," she said. "And anyone who tries to take you will kneel just like they did today." Evan smiled back in the burning desert light, with the shard glowing between them. The human and the alien sheriff walked forward, bonded, chosen, unstoppable. Their story had only just begun.